Hi there, now I'm going to explain the first subtopic in learning theories, which is brain-based learning. So, brain-based learning theory is a learning theory based on the structure and function of the human brain. As long as the brain is not prohibited from fulfilling its normal processes, learning will occur. In the 1950s, Roger Sperry at the California Institute of Technology was able to survey the corpus callosum, the nerve fiber, between the two cerebrum hemispheres. According to him, the two hemispheres of the brain process information differently. On the left side of the brain is responsible for logical, focus on facts, realism predominates, planned and orderly, maths and science minded, and also prefer non-fiction. Meanwhile, on the right side of the brain is responsible for emotional, focus on art and creativity, imagination predominates, occasionally absent-minded, prefers fiction, and also enjoys creative storytelling. This shows that characteristics of the left hemisphere include verbal, sequential, and analytical abilities. On the other hand, the dominant functions of the right hemisphere are global, holistic, and also visual spatial.
Hello everyone, I'm Maisara. In today's topic, we are going to learn Classical Conditioning Theory by Ivan Pavlov. These are the terms that you need to know, which is stimulus and response. Stimulus, something that exists in the surrounding, for example, laptop. Next is response. Response is how people or animal respond to the stimulus. For example, a student is doing her assignment. This means she is respond towards her stimulus, which is laptop. Before we go further, you need to understand Pavlov theory. First, unconditioned stimulus, US, unconditioned response, UR, neutral stimulus, NS, conditioned stimulus, CS, conditioned response, CR. The first thing that Pavlov did was he presented a piece of meat to dogs, and of course, like most hungry dogs, they would salivate to the piece of meat. The unconditioned stimulus in previous is the meat, because the meat produces natural reaction from the dog by the dog salivating. So, something in your environment produces reaction that is called unconditioned stimulus. Reaction to unconditioned stimulus is called the unconditioned response. For example, you are getting exposed to bacteria and you will get sick, or you are getting pricked with a pin and you will feel pain. Next, Pavlov rang a bell in front of the dogs in a study. The dogs did not respond to the ringing bell. The bell at this point is a neutral stimulus. Means that neutral stimulus does not produce a response. The next step is where Pavlov presents the meat to the dogs and the ring at the same time. So the dog would associate the bell with the meat, and at the end the dog salivate at the sound of the bell. When the unconditioned stimulus and the conditioned stimulus are presented together to produce the conditioned response, acquisition is basically when the conditioned response is learned. And then Pavlov took the meat away and just rang the bell by itself. The dog would salivate to only sound of the bell. From here, the bell is no longer neutral stimulus because it produces reaction to the dog. It is the conditioned stimulus. At this point, Pavlov has taught his dogs to salivate to the sound of a bell. The dog salivation response to the bell or the conditioned stimulus is the conditioned response.
Hello guys, so now I'm going to explain operant condition theory. So basically, operant conditioning is a method of learning that occurs through rewards and punishments for behavior. In Alfred Bandra's views, this operant conditioning is a voluntary or learned behavior in contrast to reflexive or unlearned behavior. In the meantime, through Robinson's and Judge, it means people learn to behave to get something that they desire or to avoid something that they don't want. behavior with positive consequences or rewards are acquired, whereas behavior with negative consequences or punishments tend to be eliminated. The key concepts consist of reflexive, which is unlearned behavior. It responds to stimuli that are involuntary or unconscious. Next, we have conditioned, which is learned behavior. It refers to types of associative learning where a stimulus becomes associated with a consequences. The last one is the reinforcement, which is reward or punishment. This one is the action of process of reinforcing or strengthening. These are a few examples of operant conditioning theory. A child may be told they will lose recess privileges if they talk out of turn in class. Or maybe, if you tell a funny story in a class and everybody laughs, you will probably more likely to tell the story again in the future, and these actions are followed by reinforcement will be strengthened and more likely to occur again in the future. And these are my explanation for operant conditioning theory.
Hey there, now it's my turn to present. I'm going to explain social learning theory. Throughout our life, we also learn by observing the environment and the behavior of other people around us. Some girls learn how to cook by observing their mothers in the kitchen, and some boys learn to drive by watching how other people are driving. Social learning theory is the belief that people can learn through observation and direct experience. This theory acknowledges the existence of observational learning and the importance of perception in learning. Individuals that observe are called models. In society, children are surrounded by many influential models, such as parents within a family, teachers at school, characters in televisions, and friends within their peer group. All of these models provide examples of behavior to be observed and imitated by the children. There are 4 processes of social learning theory. First, attentional processes. People learn from a model by recognizing and paying attention to the attractiveness of its critical features. People may also pay attention to a model because the model is repeatedly available and important to him or her. Next, retention processes. When an individual remembers the model's action after the model is no longer readily available. Next, motor reproduction processes. After observing a model's behavior, the watching is converted to doing. And lastly, reinforcement processes. An individual is motivated to exhibit the model behavior if positive incentive or rewards are provided. That's it from me. Thank you for watching.